Hi, this is Brent with another chart breakdown supporting our clarity spotlight last week on Chevron. Today's Monday, March 31st. The market just closed. It is 1:05 Pacific time. I'm going to run through some charts that we shared this week. This past week spotlight on Chevron it was a little difficult because the entire energy sector is a great example of what we discuss or what we comment on quite often, in that Wall Street likes to create these pivotal points in the chart where everything can go either way. We ran into that a lot in our research for this week, and I'll run you through some examples of that. This is crude oil futures. I changed this chart slightly. We had this charted, and you'll see it in our clarity spotlight. We had this broken into another triangle pattern that crude oil futures has historically liked to produce in these types of situations. We see this structure very similar to both of these situations where all of the moving averages have come and are grouped together and are beginning to appear to be rolling over. And you see that crude oil futures has a tendency to do that, where if they are going to roll over, all of the moving averages will become bundled here before we see a dramatic waterfall event. And right now, we see all of the moving averages are rolling over, and we do see that there's been weakness. There has been weakness, and all it's going to take at this point is just a slight volume spike here, just a little bit of supply introduced into the market, and this will come down. And this will come down likely to this area right here, where it reaccumulated last time. So this is the area that we'll be monitoring and keeping an eye on for crude oil futures. We'll have to see how it plays out. Uh, Not enough information anywhere in the chart that would convince us to change our outlook, at least not yet. If we jump over and take a look at Spider's Energy Fund, this is XLE. Again, we see similar type market structure, similar type price behavior, where we see an accumulation structure and a long a markup period, a big impulsive wave structure here, distributing and then coming down and accumulating and beginning the same process all over again, where we see a long impulsive wave structure with a really nice looking reaccumulation structure right here. And then again, dramatic fall off, similar to what we saw in crude oil. And if we went back and we compared these two charts, I would bet money that what we're seeing is these big sharp drops that we saw in crude oil prices, impacting XLE. So if we look at today's environment or today's situation, again, oops, one, two, three, four, five. That may be the top of five right there. One, two, three, four, yeah, maybe five right there. But again, long period of markup here, long period of distribution. And this is the scenario that I was referring to when I said that Wall Street likes to create these situations where it could go either way. It's very difficult in this type of a structure here for anyone to come forward and say, well, this is obvious. It's doing this. It's not obvious. It looks like it should distribute from here. There was a ton of profit that was generated from this move right here that has been taken at this level. Question is are they going to try to reaccumulate at this level and continue on? Or are they going to bring it back down here and reaccumulate down here? I suspect they'll probably bring it down here and accumulate in this area right here. That is what our analysis told us, or led us to that conclusion. Doesn't mean that there isn't the possibility that it might turn around and put an upthrust after distribution on here. So if we took a trend line and drew it across here, we could see that there is still a little bit of room here before it hits its all-time resistance. So it would not surprise us to see some sort of an upthrust here to hit that before it turns around and distributes and marks down. So a lot of things going on in that chart, a lot of things to keep an eye on. And we'll just have to see how it plays out. Obviously, we're in a very headline-rich environment. There's a lot of things that are being used by Wall Street to get through their reaccumulation process that we've been talking about since late last summer. So there's a lot of that going on right now. So more than ever, we need to pay attention to what's happening in the charts, watching the data, keeping an eye on volume, and trying to interpret what's actually going on. So this is Chevron, clean weekly chart. You see that there is that big impulsive structure that we saw in both XLE and in crude oil futures. You see high volumes here, which is indicative of distribution. You see the distribution shelf here. So a lot of profit has been taken at this level right here. The only question is does Wall Street want to bring this down in here and reaccumulate slightly lower? You see, this is kind of inefficient right there. We don't see a whole lot of congestion. So there is pretty good chance that they're going to bring this down here and reaccumulate in this area right here. Uh, it is another example of the indecisive positioning by Wall Street, not giving anybody any help here. What I see here is one, two, probably three, four, five. That's your impulsive structure. So again, wave one, wave two, wave three is five waves. So that's one, two, three, four, and then this is five, which is one, two, three, four, five. Or it could be one, two, three, four, five. Regardless, this is an impulsive structure that has completed. From here, it looks like an A, B, C move down here. So anytime you see distribution and profit taken and this big gap in the volume profile right here, this screams liquidity. This means nobody's home right here. So if Wall Street can bring the price down in this area right here, all of these people right here will be squeezed. That's liquidity, and most likely that's probably where they're headed. They're going to come down here into this gap, maybe off of this pivot high right there, at least get into this into this inefficient zone and possibly set up a reaccumulation structure right there. If we jump over to our live chart, which has been marked up with Wyckoff tags, this is kind of what I was just describing and what we're seeing. Here's your big upper here's your large volume shelf. Here's your distribution structure. Here is moving averages continuing to just kind of lose strength and drift sideways. Price is currently above all of the moving averages. We have seen an upthrust here. Whether or not this is wave one, two, and then going into a three, four, five and building out an impulsive structure that way remains to be seen. It looks like an A, B, C, where we have a B structure here, and a continuation of a corrective wave to the downside. So we'll have to see how it plays out. We do see this big gap, this big cavern in the volume profile that will look very attractive from a liquidity standpoint for all of the firms that just took all of this profit. This was a tremendous trade for them. There's a good chance that they have just been slowly taking the rest of their profit here. This could be their last point, the last part of their long position that they are just closing out and converting over to short positions to drive it back down here to accumulate their positions again in this prior reaccumulation zone. So difficult week this week with Chevron because of the indecisive nature of all of the charts. All of them look like they could, for some reason, reverse course and go the other way. And when I say reverse course and go the other way, I mean invalidate this breakdown into accumulation and break out this way into another impulsive wave structure. That has not been ruled out on our side. That is something that we are going to continue to be monitoring and looking closely at. It's part of when we say we need to have an open mind to all of the different outcomes. This is a good example of it. We'll have to see how this develops. I do want to say that even if this comes out of here and gets up into this area where it starts to run into this all-time supply line, this could develop an upthrust after distribution and still turn around and come back down here. So we're going to have to give it some time. We're going to have to monitor it closely, see how it handles these moving averages when it comes should it come down here and get into this inefficient candle right there. If it comes down here and it loses these and starts heading back down here to test this 200 weekly exponential moving average, that's when we'll start to look for the continuation of this into an accumulation structure and markdown. So I hope that was helpful. Hope everybody enjoyed clarity this week. We're going to be rolling out the message board. The problem we're having with it is we're having difficulty keeping it behind the firewall. It keeps wanting to extend outside the firewall, and that means we're opening up our message board to the general public, to the internet, and that's not something that we're interested in doing. So expect to see that coming out. We're still working on it today, trying to get it out today. It should be over the next couple of days. We are also about to publish from the Trading Couch to hopefully give everyone a little more insight into what we're reading into this environment. I think you'll like it. I hope everybody had a good day trading today, and hopefully this video was helpful.